question I'll be focusing on is, in what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? My music video conforms to the indie rock genre, which is a subgenre of alternative rock, which originated in the United Kingdom and United States in the 1980s. From my research, I found that the characters within the videos usually wear very informal clothing, for example jeans and hoodies, such as within the video by Imagine Dragons, Radioactive, where the main protagonist wears casual clothes to attract a specific audience that relate to the characters. The mise-en-scène helps to set the scene for the videos and is a very important factor in the indie rock genre, as it helps to convey the narrative. Props add to the reality of the narrative and to the personality and background of each character to create verisimilitude for the audience, creating a more realistic world. For example, in Josh Kumra's video, Waiting for You, the props that the characters are surrounded by told the story of their lives. Indie rock music videos are also known to be quite low budget. Therefore, the main settings are often easily accessible and are kept simple to focus more on the artist and performance. Therefore, within my video, the singer is placed in the setting of nature, creating a sense of isolation and mystery for the audience. I decided to incorporate both performance and narrative within my video to engage the audience with the story of the song, but still allowing them to appreciate the music itself, as well as the story. Within my music video, I used a narrative to portray to the audience my perception of the song, using alcohol as a symbol to emphasize the lyrics. Even though the narrative to the video is unique, the conventions used conform to the stereotypes of the indie rock genre. For example, the inclusion of performance, use of close-ups, and effects that make the video appear aged. However, whilst initially planning my video, I decided to use purely narrative structure to create a cinematic effect. Whilst editing, I soon began to realize, with the aid of a peer assessment, that the audience could not relate to the video as being a music one. Therefore, I decided to incorporate a performance into the video. Through the editing, I used lots of filters to create a more cinematic effect, to add to the narrative of the video. For example, during the story of Pride, I put in a tint effect to make it appear black and white. I used this filter to add to the reality and nostalgia of the story. Within most indie rock videos, filters are used to create a cinematic effect, engaging the audience even more. For example, Code Lines The One. Shots are usually cut either fast or slow to reflect the pace and beat of the music. The song that I chose, To Be Alone, has a slow pace, therefore my editing within the video is also slow. The lead singer is usually framed into the centre of the shot to promote themselves, just like in Mumford & Sons' Little Lion Man. Within videos like these, they tend to be performance-based, with little or no narrative at all. However, I challenged this convention and conformed to the more recently made ones, where some artists choose to do the opposite, such as Amber Rum, who sometimes don't appear in their videos at all. For example, I found was purely narrative. I was inspired by Hozier's other videos to use close-up shots frequently to highlight the artist's talents when he is singing. It also conveys the emotion felt by the characters within the narrative. Crane shots are also very popular to portray live performances, as it allows for different angles to be shown easily. However, this was not possible for me to do, therefore I used many long and wide shots instead to create the same effect and to set the scene for the narrative. Therefore, I believe that my music video conforms to the conventions of indie rock music videos because it adheres to most of the features, including the mise-en-scène, editing, and camera aspects of the genre. With most artists in any genre, there is usually some form of synergy involved with the video and ancillary texts. With my album cover, I incorporated most of the themes within my video to create a sense of synergism. I used the themes of isolation, nature, and alcohol to conclude what my interpretation of the song was about, an uncontrollable force of greed for damaging things such as alcohol or drugs. In my research, I found that most indie rock artists include natural features into the cover of the album because it brings around the connotations of isolation and, depending on the song, either peace or wildness. I chose to turn the saturation of the image down on the front of my album with the image of trees to make it appear more mysterious and wild. This was done to entice the audience to the album even more. I also found that with most albums, the artist is placed within the cover as a form of recognition with the audience. For example, within Of Monsters and Men's album, My Head is an Animal, the main singer is placed in a natural setting, a beach, as this relates to many of the songs on the album, with the titles including nature, such as Mountain Sound. Within this album, there is a slight contrast of colours, which I used within my own cover to emphasise the binary oppositions of sinister and benevolent, which are representations of the song. However, the images I used were blended together to emphasize the isolation, as the song states, "Oh, to be alone with you." This also creates a narrative within the image, which many indie rock artists choose to do, such as Ben Howard in his album of Every Kingdom. With this album, The Colors of the Sea suggests the narrative of a person's life becoming slowly more disastrous. With my album cover, the use of blending suggests the person becoming more wild and untamed through the use of alcohol, because they are slowly blending into the beer cans, which is blending into the nature. This links to the end of the video during the montage of shots which connect the character, alcohol, and nature together. However, the main commonality that all album covers have is that the artist wants to promote themselves. Therefore, the artist's label usually stands out, linking but completely contrasting to the rest of the colours on the album. This is true to many artists such as The Killers and Hozier.